What a grand day!
Hello students, welcome to Vidhan English and Motivation. I am Vidhan Krishna, PGT English. Today we are going to discuss very important concept of the lesson The Tiger King, class 12th English score by Kalki. Students, today we are not going to simply revise the story. Today I want you to think about the story. Let me begin with a question. Can a human being really control his destiny? Can wealth control destiny? Can power control destiny? Can a king control destiny? The Maharaja of this story believes that he can, and that belief becomes the foundation of his entire life. So let us understand the complete theme of the Tiger King in a systematic and board-oriented manner. Students, the central theme of the Tiger King is the conflict between human power and faith. At the beginning of the story, astrologers predict that the Maharaja will die because of a tiger. Now Maharaja is a powerful king. He has wealth, he has authority, he has ministers, hunters, and an entire kingdom under his command. So what does he decide? He decides to defeat the prophecy. And how? By killing every tiger he can find. One tiger, another, and another. Eventually, he kills 70 tigers, and after killing 70 tigers, he believes that he has almost defeated destiny. But here is the central message of the story. The Maharaja can control the tigers, but he cannot control fate. He can command people. He can control his kingdom. He can use his power, but he cannot command destiny. And that is the foundation of the entire story. Now students, let us look at the psychology of the Maharaja. What begins his journey? Fear. He is afraid of death, but gradually his fear becomes an obsession. He starts thinking about tiger everywhere. Tiger hunting becomes the central purpose of his life. His obsession becomes so strong that even his marriage is influenced by the availability of the tigers. Just think about it. A normal person think about marriage in terms of relationships, compatibility, and family. But the Maharaja thinks, where can I find more tigers? This tells us completely how his fear has taken control his mind. Remember this sequence: fear, obsession, irrational actions. That is, fear leads to obsession. Obsession leads to irrational actions. Kalki shows us that uncontrolled fear can destroy rational thinking. The Maharaja is not simply hunting tigers. He is trying to destroy his fear of death. Now comes another major theme: power and arrogance. The Maharaja is extremely powerful, but his greatest weakness is his belief that his power is unlimited. He begins to think, if I am powerful enough, I can change my destiny. And this is where power turns into arrogance. Instead of accepting uncertainty, he tries to eliminate In spite of respecting nature, he tries to dominate it. Instead of respecting mortality, he tries to defeat it. Students, this gives us a very important lesson. Power without wisdom can become destructive. The Maharaja can control his kingdom, but he cannot control his own destiny. And this contrast makes his character deeply ironical. Now, if you try to understand the literary brilliance of the Tiger King, remember two words: satire and irony. Kalki uses humor to criticize the Maharajas and his system around him. Think about the situation. The king should be concerned with the welfare of his people. Think about justice, security, and development. But what is this king concerned about? Tigers. His personal fear becomes almost a state policy. This is satire. Kalki makes the Maharaja behavior so exaggerated and absurd that we laugh at him. But behind the humor is a serious criticism of the royal arrogance, blind authority, superstition, flattery, and misuse of power. Now comes the greatest irony. The Maharaja believes that if he kills all the tigers, he will defeat the prophecy. He kills 70 tigers. He believes that he has won. But does he really win? No. His downfall becomes connected with a wooden tiger. And this gives us the greatest irony of the story. The man who kills real tigers is ultimately defeated through a wooden tiger. This is the genius of the Kalki's storytelling. Students, there is another important theme here: man versus nature. Why does the Maharaja kill the tigers? Not because they are attacking his people, not because they are destroying his kingdom. He kills them because he wants to protect himself from a prophecy. The tiger becomes an obstacle between him and his desire to control his future. So he destroys the nature for selfish purpose. This gives the story an ecological dimension. Kalki indirectly makes us think, what happens when human beings try to dominate nature for their own selfish interest? The tiger represents the natural world, and the Maharaja represents man's desire to control that world. Therefore, the story also reminds us of the importance of wildlife, ecological balance. It is a powerful symbol. The tiger represents fate because the Maharaja's fear that the tiger will become the cause of his death. The tiger represents nature. The tiger represents the natural world. The tiger represents fear because the tiger becomes physical representation, one of the Maharaja's deepest fear, and finally a challenge to his ego, because Maharaja believes that defeating the tiger is defeating destiny. Whenever you see a tiger in the story, think beyond the animal. Think fate plus death plus nature plus fear plus ego. Now let us come to the most important symbol at the end, the wooden tiger. Why is it important? Because it represents the unpredictability of fate. The Maharaja spends his entire life killing real tigers. He believes that real tiger is his enemy. But destiny does not work according to his calculation. A small wooden tiger becomes connected to his downfall. And suddenly the entire meaning of the story changes. The Maharaja thought, I have defeated the tiger. But in reality, he has only defeated a physical animal. He could never defeat fate. He could never defeat immortality. He could never defeat his illusion to control. That is why the wooden tiger is so significant. Now students, let us go one level deeper. What is the spiritual message of the story? Human beings often believe, I can control everything. But life teaches us that this is not true. We can control our actions. We can make plans. We can control, we can work hard. We can make decisions, but we cannot control completely outcome of our life. The Maharaja spent his entire life controlling destiny, and ultimately he discovers his limitation. Therefore, the spiritual message is human beings must recognize the limits of their own power. The story teaches us that the importance of humility, wisdom, acceptance, and freedom from excessive ego. Maharaja's real enemy was not the tiger. His real enemy were the fear, ego, obsession, and the illusion of control. Now students, let us quickly devise the major theme. If you get a question in the examination, remember these points: fate, fear and obsession, irony, satire, man versus nature, symbolism, illusion of control. Students, if you remember these 8 points, you have the thematic framework of the entire chapter. So students, let me leave you with a final thought. The Maharaja spends his entire life trying to kill the tiger outside him. But the real tiger is within him. His fear, his ego, his illusion to control. And that is why the Tiger King is much more than a story about a king and tigers. It is a story about power, fear, nature, destiny, human arrogance, and the limit of human control. Remember this final line: the more desperately we try to control fear or fate, the more clearly we discover the limitation of our own power. Great literature does not simply help us to pass examination. It teaches us to understand life. Thank you for watching. I am Vidhan Krishna, PGT English. You are watching Vidhan English and Motivation. Keep learning, keep thinking, keep growing. See you in the next class. Thank you. Jai Hind.